All right. Yeah, we're going to work on textures. Okay. So just to do some recap, we've talked about skin, color blending, and tones. Everything about tones, we've covered it, and not everything though, but just at least 80% of tones. The next one we're going to look at is the textures. Okay. So for this texture, you're going to see what texture is. Now, if you check the background, you're going to see this white stains, all of this one. Those are textures. And you can check a harm also. You're going to see all these um, stretch marks. There are textures, the pimples, the injury she has. Those are textures. The roughness, the air has textures. This roughness, they are textures. So how do I easily get the textures for you? Let's first of all rasterize the layer. Now there are two methods of which you're going to come across. There are a lot of method, okay, but I think I'm just going to dive straight into it. Let's first of all duplicate the layer. Now for this one, I can show you. I can go to filter, I pass. Let's go to I pass, so that I pass and hit OK. Now you can see the textures, right? Look at the textures. Now I've eliminated the colors, but right, what is showing right now is the textures, the roughness, the roughness of all of this. These are the textures. Okay, so this is even one of the method. If I control I to invert, once you invert it, you're gonna see much of it, and then I think you can change it to vivid light. And if you want to smoothing, okay, smoothing, change vivid light, and then you do all your thing. But let me just go straight to the ones we normally do. I'm going to talk about this when we're doing the plugins. Okay, so I just showed you what texture is. Now I want to show you how to work on the textures directly instead of going about using different method. And you know, before I actually got to this point, we've talked about the clone stamp tool, the mixer tool, and the spot healing tool, where we had to, let me make it bigger and zoom in, where we had to, do like this and then remove all of that. Well, that's actually fine, quite all right, but it's very hard for you to use it on this type of textures. Okay, so instead of doing all of this, and then there are sometimes you can actually even use it. So I'm just going to show you a quick way to fix all of this. First of all, let's do what we know how to do best. So frequency separation, that's what I'm going to dive in, and then I'm going to show you how to add texture to your images. Okay, so let's go. Now for you to do that, you need to duplicate the image twice. Now I'm just duplicating it twice. You just need two images. The first one, I'm going to name it tone, and this one I'm going to name it texture. So these are the two steps you need to do. It's called frequency separation. I'm going to select this one and group it and name it frequency separation. Okay, so it's called frequency separation. I'm just going straight to the point instead of, this is what most retouchers do. They just do frequency separation. There is, unless you want to do quick job and then you just want to, but this is just the highest, the professional way of doing it. So frequency separation. Now what you need to do is to turn off this texture, select the tone. Now the texture and the tone are the two things that make up the image, the color and the text and the roughness that makes up the image. So we want to subtract the color from the roughness from the texture, and we want to subtract it. We want to make it the two different because now they are combined, so we want to make them different. So now select only the tone. Right now it's still one, so let's make it a tone, let's make it a color. For us to do that, we're going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then we're going to blur it. I like blurring it, just blur. You can focus more on this side and then blur till you have a very smooth transition. 3.5, okay. Let's bring it down a little bit and it's okay. Okay, so that's that. Now you're going to select the texture. Now these are the colors. You can see that textures are all gone. It's just color. If I zoom in, you can't see any roughness again. So there is a best value for that. So I think I'm going to share a video on how to choose the best value for the Gaussian blur. Now select the texture, turn it on, and go to image, apply image. and then you're going under this layer, you're going to select tone. You're subtracting the texture from the tone, and then you're going to choose the blending mode subtract because you're subtracting. Now scale to offset 128, leave everything like this, okay, because the image is an 8-bit image. You can see 8 here, so there's 16 bits. If you're using 16 bits, you need to turn this to invert. All right, so sorry about that, that's my alarm. And you can use, after doing this, just click OK. Okay, so it doesn't really matter anyway. They're not going to notice the changes. So we have the texture now and the color. Notice how it is. Now we can't get our image back. Why? Because the texture is still on the normal and the tone is normal. So you just need to change only the texture. So click on the texture and go to linear light, and now we have our image back. Notice, don't turn off anyone, because if you turn it, it's going to come back. If I turn off this one, it's going to get blur. If I turn off this one, the texture will show. So you need it to get the image back. Now you can work on them independently. Now remember the tool I told you about when we started the class 1A or class 1B. Yeah, the two tool, which is the mixer tool brush and the clone stamp tool. So once you are working on the texture, you are going to use the clone stamp tool. If you are working on the tone, you're going to use the mixer tool brush. So any of the two. So now we're working on the texture. Okay, so let's bring it back. Now let's see any roughness we're seeing, like the nose. We're just going to sample an area and then cover that, just like that, as simple as that. And we can go here, look at all the small pimples, select the smoother side, and then just cover. Okay, so that's current layer. Make sure it's on current layer, not current and below, if yours is like that. So take the settings, make sure everything is like this when you're working with this. So like that, and just pick on a smooth place and then just remove some roughness in the image. And I'm gonna locate the top part, and I think here is smooth enough, and I can fill it in and fill it in, come back, do this, do this, do that, do that, do that, do that. Okay, and do this, do all of this. All right, so quickly let's go to our hand, and now I want to remove all of this. So this one, you can click on the align because it's a straight one. So just select somewhere around here, and then I'm just gonna dance, come here, dance. It's gonna keep selecting where I sampled. Okay, just like that. Now we're still working on textures. We still have some of the textures that are not, fully gone. You can see. So imagine using your normal tools, and just it's gonna take time. And I'm gonna remove this one. Let's quickly remove that, sample an area close to it, and then boom. So this is a texture. It's still on texture, but it can be affected. Nothing you can do, but there is one that can fix it. Okay, so now that is time to use the tone. So once you select the tone, go to the mixer tool brush, and now you're going to work on it, on the color. Now notice we talked about blending of tones with different adjustment layer. Doesn't end there. You need to smoothing the skin tones very well, and this is where you do it. So select your tone, select your mixer tool brush. I've told you the settings of the brush in class 1B or class 1C or 1A. I think I told you the setting of the brush. So don't make sure you are not sampling all layers, and make sure all of this is selected. And now you can now start blending. It's actually easy. Once you blend, it's gone. Blend it all out, and you're gonna get a real equal skin. Let's just do it. Now I didn't do skin correction. Okay, we didn't do color correction, and that's why it's like this. So I'm just showing you just what you need to do to blend skin tones. Okay, so you need to do color correction before you actually even do all of this. That's how I work. A lot of people do all this, then do color correction. It doesn't matter, anyone you want to do. So I'm just actually blending. So if you can't see the effect, you know what to do. Please blend according to the contour. You can see the way I'm blending right now. don't blend like this, it's going to damage the image. You can see what it's doing. So Ctrl Z, all you just need to do is to blend like that. All right, so this is I'm going to do another new tutorial on the blending of colors and working with. So this is just the step to do, and you might see that nothing is happening but a lot is happening. Okay, so I don't want to make all this all long and bore you with it. Let's just see what's here now. So this is just working on the textures and working on the skin tones and working on this texture with these skin tones. Okay, so now let's see. See, look at this. I'm just gonna blend it and I think it's gonna vanish. See, so the texture there is gone, and this one as well, we can do it. So but we need to correct all of this. And now this is where capture one also come into play. Whenever you have something very hard like this, it takes time for it to blend, and a lot of method won't work here in Photoshop except to use other software too. So let's quickly see what we did. Let's turn it off. Let's turn our reference on, and then like this on. So zoom in, we have this and this, so you can see how we just worked on the texture, and we are supposed to do the skin color correction first before we do any other thing. So okay, so that's for this class. We're going to do a retouch, an application of everything we learned in the next class. Okay, so see you in the next class.